So, welcome to our second day of Spiritualizing Matter. Today's session has the amazing topic that everybody loves, and the topic is love. And it is a complex subject, most people are just want to talk about love from the perspective of how to find love, or who is my ideal life partner, or where will I find him, or etc., etc. But today we're going to examine all options. We're going to examine many kinds of love and how we can live in the present without being the slaves of desires of things that we do not have. So let's start first by saying that, I want to show you once more the proof that what I will be talking about today about compatibility through arithmosophy, because as you remember yesterday, we showed arithmosophy. So today we are moving through arithmosophy to show you who we are and who we are compatible with as personalities. Of course, arithmosophy has so many numbers. You may be a certain number that has certain properties and certain qualities, but you may have so many other different numbers in other positions, and that is going to balance and make it possible for you to be compatible with someone who is not within your range. Now, usually, from all my experience until now, what I just said is possible. But it's not, from my entire experience until now, usually your life path number, which we're going to examine today, in compatibility, we look at our life path number. So that usually defines in a great extent who you are and who you're compatible to. And this is not me again, it's Pythagoras, the great teacher. And to convince you, I want to show you, I don't want to convince you, sorry, wrong term, to prove to you that, that this is so, that there is, that arithmosophy is a spiritual science and it's not just something that I'm doing for whatever reason to convince people or to impress them or to make a living for whatever reason. But arithmosophy is a spiritual science and I'm passionate about it. I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you a very, very amazing proof. This proof, I'm not sure whether Pythagoras himself has brought to the world, but I know that this is one of the great proofs. It's a famous proof. It is a 9 muses proof. That's why it's called what it's called. And this proof is conclusive about the fact that arithmosophy, the single digit number of our name has great meaning. So first, our name, right? We talked about the name makers in the higher planes. You remember yesterday, Pythagoras talked about the name makers, and we showed the proof of the name makers, that there are these phrases, destination of and spiritual aspiration of. For every person, they produce the same esoteric number, which is really mind-boggling. I cannot imagine how this works. There is no other explanation other than the name makers that Pythagoras talked about. And now there is this amazing proof of the 9 muses, right? So the 9 muses proof is this. If you add up, you remember we had these tables of correspondences between the Greek alphabet and numbers, which is simple, like A was 1, B was C, etc. The second row was 10 to 90, first row was 1 to 9, second row was 10 to 90, third row was 100 to 900. Just the alphabet in a sequence. I don't want to go into detail again, but you saw how there was this table of correspondences of numbers to letters that Pythagoras brought and said all truth can be obtained through numbers. And amazingly, the 9 muses, that were, described by Homer or Herodotus, by Herodotus, 100 years at least before, before, or is it Hesiod? Anyway, the 9 muses that were described at least 100 years before the birth of Pythagoras, who brought these tables of correspondences, right? For the Greek language. Then if you write down their 9 names and you add up their letters, values, and you produce their number, right? We don't look at the esoteric method. We just add up the letters, the values, to a single digit number for each muse. The names were 9, of 9 muses were 100 years before Pythagoras. And they produce a single digit number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each muse has a single digit number that, that is from 1 to 9. And actually there is an order. This places them in order because usually, in the encyclopedia, we used to have an encyclopedia, not Wikipedia, you had the 9 muses in alphabetic order, or in random order. But now it places them in an order that makes sense. Like the first muse is the one of the hymns and the song, the invoking song, the hymns to the gods. So this is what everything starts with in a ceremony. Everything makes sense. Everything is in a certain order. And the numbers, the qualities of the muses correspond very much to their qualities. So it is mind-blowing how it's possible that these 9 names have this. I mean, this is not a coincidence because this is a system, right? You can say, yes, these names were created to fit this pattern, but no, these were created 100 years before the tables of correspondences. So this is a proof, one more proof. There are hundreds of proofs for the validity of the single digit number. It creates systems. You can see entire systems, they have harmony. That's why Pythagoras said that symmetry and harmony are signs of divinity and wholesomeness, as Master Chogyam Sui would say. So now today we examined love. I had to give you this proof to show you how amazing Arithmosophy is, how divine and how accurate. So now another factor that is very, very important, according to Pythagoras, is our life path number. It's the single digit number that is produced by the addition of our birth date. Now, I would like you to add up the number of your birth date to a single digit number, not to a master number, or if you know Arithmosophy, or a karmic number, just a single digit number. I want you to add all the digits of your birthday, of the date, the month, and all the year. If you were born, let's say, in 1980, do not write 80. Write 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 0. I want you to add up. It's better to add up always with your phone, although it's very easy to do. Sometimes we make mistakes, and these mistakes are very, very, they can mislead you. So I want you to know your number, your single digit number, which is your life path number. And we're going to see to how you love, in which way you love, and who are the people with whom you are compatible in a moment. So I will be just a second and you can calculate. Okay, thank you. The cicadas are making too much noise, not only my dogs. All right, so I hope you have calculated your single digit number. So this, according to Pythagoras, as I said yesterday, Pythagoras would admit in his ashram all number 7s without the prior 5-year silence test. That is amazing. I mean, from a great teacher who brought so many sciences. First of all, the most incredible thing that he brought, numbers, right? Was he brought numbers. And then at that time, the sciences were they're based on observation. But if you don't have numbers to apply to your experimentation and to calculate, to count, then it is really difficult to have a science. So he was the father of so many sciences, let alone that he was so ahead of his time, or perhaps millions of years old, I don't know, that he brought even group psychology, or certain techniques for fetuses and healing with the lyre, with music. And he was a very, very advanced teacher and healer and scientist, astronomer, trigonometer, mathematician. What else were his field? Like music theorist. He was amazing. He brought so much to the world. He brought, and as we said yesterday, he brought the spiritual monotheism, one God. This he brought from India, right? I myself found in the Bhagavad Gita, during a wonderful lecture of Master Glenn Mendoza in Bovina, I found that in the Bhagavad Gita, there was a description of number 3 as the one and the many, which is exactly the way that arithmosophers describe number 3. And then I found out that in the Bhagavad Gita, all the numbers are described in the way that the arithmosophers describe them, that the Pythagoreans describe them. Therefore, this is not a coincidence. To me, this is conclusive proof that Pythagoras went to India. But of course, then we would have to do research and find out the sources and to be certain. So, but this is what I found, and I believe it. So it is incredible that arithmosophy and numbers have amazing properties. I mean, I don't know if you like numbers. I used to be afraid of mathematics because I didn't. I was a good student in the mathematics, but I'm not. I'm an artist, so I never had this ease with formulas, etc. So I was always afraid of them. So when we're afraid of something, we don't look at it. We just don't look at it closely. But if you look at mathematics, at numbers, they're amazing, right? I mean, it's amazing. The properties of each number is amazing. There are magical properties for every number. So now we're not going to go into that. Let's just talk about our compatibility. So now that you have calculated your single digit number of the addition of all the numbers of your birth date, we can go to show you actually, I can tell you about it. It's better than to show you. I'm going to show you, after we talk about who you're compatible with, I'm going to show you a PowerPoint, one page, and you can take a screenshot to have this. So I just want you to not take any notes or anything. If you want to take notes about qualities and properties, it's okay. But which numbers you're compatible with, it's not important. I'm going to show you a page, and you can take a screenshot or a shot with your phone, and you can have this so that you remember and so that you can see, with other people, if they match or whatever, your parents, whatever. And then you can see also the differences and where the problems lie. So, for example, if you're a single digit of your birthday, that is your life path number again. If that is a number 1, then the way that a number 1 loves is number 1 takes always initiative, is always the leader, is very, hard to convince to change their plans. They have to lead. And also number 1 is a bit impatient, and also a bit intolerant, a bit judgmental. Of course, if you're a narcotic yogi number 1, and you have tempered your personal character, and you are, aware of your drawbacks, let's say that, then of course you're, you can learn to delegate, you can learn to cooperate, you're not the perfectionist. So these are, this is an advanced number one. But a number one tends to be lonely because of these characteristics. If you want to be the one deciding about everything, then not everyone likes that. Number ones are very, very, sometimes they're difficult people. They're difficult. They are, they're a bit aggressive, etc. A bit tyrannical sometimes. These are all the negative aspects, right? The great aspect, they're leaders, they are innovators, they're inventors, they are the ones who act, they're the ones who start things, they're fresh, full of energy, etc. But they have this in love, they need to lead. So if a number one wants to have a relationship with a number two, for example, they have to decide from the beginning that the number two is going to be, submissive, has to be submissive to number one. Now, if they like that kind of relationship, they can do it, but a number one usually is better with the joyful, exuberant, mental number three, and with a passionate number five. Number one and number five make a relationship that is too passionate because number five is free and, loves change and etc. And number one is, as we said, a bit more bossy. So number one and number five have a passionate relationship, but a bit perhaps too passionate sometimes. And number one can be very good friends with a number seven, because a number seven is like a mental number one. A number seven is very in the relationship field. And number seven is a loner, is aloof. We'll talk about number seven later. So number one goes very well with number three and number five. Of course, if you meet someone who's a number four, don't say, oh, I'm not going to have a relationship with them because Evita said that number one doesn't go with a number four. No. You just, it would be nice to understand. For example, number four, and number one is okay. How does that work? We're talking about ideal relationships. Number four goes with most numbers, even a number one. But for number one, ideally, it's a three and a five, right? From their point of view, for them to be more happy. So how do you get the single digit number? All right, you add all the digits of your birth date, the day, the month, the year. It comes to a double digit number usually, and then you add these two numbers and you get a single digit. You reduce it to a single digit. Like if your birth date comes to an 18, you add 1 and 8, that's a 9. A single digit number of all the numbers. And be careful, if it's a 19, you were born in the 1900s, don't forget the 1 and the 9, right? So then if you're a number two, and number two is more, as we said, with the number one, it's a a strange relationship where the number two has to be very submissive, always very passive. And sometimes, number two has this problem, develops this problem that number two's problem is to be submissive. Everything in excess develops a problem. Everything that is not in the middle path, that is excessive, like number one is full of joy, full of life, or rather not full of joy, full of energy, right? But when you have too much energy, you can become tyrannical and arrogant. And number two is feminine, passive, even for a man, it's very sweet, very beautiful, cooperative, a good partner, loving partner. This is how you love. You want partnership. You don't want to be doing things on your own. You want partnership, and you will always have partnership and money, by the way. So number two is made to have money and partnership. It's made to be of the matter, of the earth. And then you have number two. So number two's problem, let's say, being excessively sweet and feminine and passive, which is also nice for a man, sometimes not to be excessively aggressive and macho and all that. Sometimes a number two man is wonderful, cooperative, is balanced with his feminine and masculine sides. But if you're excessively passive, what happens? The problem of number two sometimes is that they become too submissive and they don't speak up, and they speak up, they speak at the wrong time, too late or too early or whatever. They don't speak when they must speak, and they erupt because when they must not erupt, right? Because they accumulate all this, why did they say this to me? They accumulate all this discontent and erupt often. That is a problem for number two. Number two has to learn not to be too submissive. But number two is wonderful with an organized eight. Eight is a true leader. So you have a two and an eight, it's a great business relationship, right? It's ideal for business. I think also a number one can be with a number eight in business, but not in as partners, Also, number two can be with number nine, because number nine is very humanitarian, it's a humanitarian number nine. And also with a number five, very, very passionate relations can be between a two and a five, because five is the love number, So then if you're a number three, the way that number three loves, number three is exuberant, is charming, it's charming. Number three is going to charm you, is going to make your knees wobble from too much charm, but they're not doing it on purpose. They're not like, charm is a negative notion sometimes. It's not good to try to seduce and try to charm others. But number three are naturally charming. They're exuberant, they're happy, joyful people. And their mission is to show others the magic in life, that there is meaning in life, that there is meaning in them and in everything around them. And number three is the number of intelligence, of mentality. It's Osiris, is the child, the intelligent aspect, the Brahma aspect, right? So number three is goes very, very well. It loves in a way that is, demonstrative. And number three is going to sweep you off your feet, is going to be an amazing host, is going to be someone who is going to be, using speech in ways that are going to charm you, magnetize you. Number three uses speech, uses writing also a lot. So they go very well with number five. Number five and number three are ideal combination. And with number seven, because number seven is mental, but number seven is more aloof, whereas number three is more extrovert. Of course, there is attraction between those two, right? Number seven, we'll talk about number seven. Number three goes very well with number one as well, as we said earlier, because number one is a leader. Number three, these two together make a very, very dynamic duo, but also with the number two. If the number two and the number three, because the number two is a good partner, number three is a positive thinker, so these two can go very well together. As you can see, number three is a wonderful number for relationships. And then we have number four. Number four is the way that number four loves is loyal. Number four is loyal, is loving, wants a home and a family, and his or her paradise is the home. That's where they have, their heaven is at home. They just need a home that is full of love, that is a real home with a real kitchen, with a real, everything to be homey. They love that. And they love the family. So number four are hardworking, are stable, are practical, are also, they love the occult, they love, knowledge, they love academia, they love science. They are thinkers, but they are homey. So number four goes with many numbers because everyone wants a number four, right? Number four is very, very, very loyal, very good, very permanent feature in your life. It's not someone who will come and go, So number four goes with, let's say, number one, because number four goes with number one because there's this dynamism between them. Of course, number one is usually the one leading the way, but four is a constant factor, right? And then you have, it goes very well with number eight. They are so alike with number eight because eight is organized. But again, number eight is going to be the one who is the more, um, you know, number eight will be the one who will be leading the way. And number four is going to be the steady one. It's going to be, but number eight is also very intuitive. So there's going to be this combination between, number four, who is more scientific and needs proof for everything, and number eight, who is more organized and also has a high intuition. And, is very successful. So together they make a good combination. Number four goes very well with number six also, I think they make a very loving home. Number four and number six. Number six is creative, artistic, and very nurturing, and loves to work from home. So if it's a four and a six together, the six provides the ideal home for the four. And they're both financially sound together. They make their own home, they buy land, they love a home. So they're a very good combination together. And the four finds the nurturing that she or he craves for. And then you have number seven, goes very well with number four, because number four is, is a number that has the potential to be very studious and very, like number four is like the manifestation of the three other numbers. Like you have divine will, divine love, divine intelligence. And then you have four, that is the materialization of the Trinity. So number four is like, the so be it. And then you have number seven, that is very mental. So these go there, the mysterious and mental aspect goes very well together, 4 and 7. And then you have number 5. Number 5 is change, the number for change, but also number 5 is the number for love and marriage. Number 5 is the number, the actual digit, the symbol is the symbol of Hera, the goddess Hera, the wife of Zeus. And that means that, this is the number of Hera and the number of marriage. So love and marriage and a rosy, happy life, a joyful life is very important to number 5. 5, at the same time, 5 is a number of intelligence. So just think, all these things. 5 is also the 5-pointed star, the man, human being. So, or rather the ascended master. Number 4 is closer to the human being. But the number 5 is marriage, love, intelligence, and happiness, joy, all together. So that by itself shows so much, and basically it does show that people are supposed to go into relationships that are long-lasting and meaningful and profound. This is one truth that is shown to us by Arithmosophy. But number 5 is full of change. Number 5 loves to change. And because the purpose of number 5 is to acquire experience for the soul, therefore number 5 will probably have many lovers, or especially at a young age will, change many homes, many countries, hop from place to place. Number 5 is meant to collect experience for the soul, but at the same time, it is the lesson for number 5. Its aim is to learn how to accept responsibility for their actions. So number 5 is, like a beautiful butterfly that is going to be very, very loving once she or he marries, and very intelligent and very loyal at the same time. So number 5 goes very well with the number 1, because number 5 is a number of change, is dynamic, and number 1 is dynamic. And the number 5 is so rosy and happy that it can be led by number one. It can tolerate a number one. Number five, I'm sorry if you're a number one, you know, you can, I mean, this arithmosophy is so that we can improve ourselves. It's not so that we are insulted by the truth. And, you know, I'm human and I may make a mistake. And as I said earlier, all your other numbers may be such that they complement. Usually it is, you know, we have many numbers that balance us. We're not one thing only. So number one, you know, can be led by number one. Number five can be led by number one. And it can be very well also with a number three, because number three is also dynamic, joyful, happy. And number three and the number five are very well together. Also, a number six, because 5 and 6 is nurturing and artistic, and 5 is full of change, which is something that the artist in 6 likes, and the nurturer in 6 tries to, you know, tries to bring to the home. So there's this dynamic between them. But 5 also is the number of change, but also of marriage. This is mind-boggling if you think about it. So number 5s also go with number 7s. This is, you know, number 7 doesn't go with many numbers, but it goes, you know, with number 7. Number 5, usually, many times, not usually, I'm sorry, don't please divorce now. Number 5, if it divorces, if it, you know, breaks up from a relationship that is long, it usually remarries at an older age. And number 7 usually marries older. Number 7 finds a life partner older. We will talk about how number 7 loves. So number 5 has the characteristic that is very loving and happy, but it changes, you know, it changes. It is not very constant. If it is flimsy, if it is not stable, there are number 5s, as we've said earlier, that they're, you know, they collect experience, but they learn from that experience and they learn to take the responsibilities for their actions. Now we have number 6. Number 6 goes very well with the 2, right? I mean, 6 and 2, they are like creative and nurturing, and 2 is loving and partnership together. They are really well together. And number 6 is a creative, but also a nurturer. It's like someone who is giving birth all the time to all those things that may be food, may be taking care of older people or babies or of others, whatever, and is someone who is at the same time very artistic, very creative. And number 6 is incredibly intuitive. There is no way that number 6 is going to fall for someone who is really different totally, or, you know, alien to her or him, because the number 6 is incredibly intuitive. So I will say this, that if you're in number 6 and you ever are, I say this to the know your purpose and bloom every time. You're number 6 and you're going out, for example, and you're so happy, you're going out with your friends, and suddenly your energy drops. You feel that somebody has, you know, pulled the carpet under your feet. It is not because, don't take it personally, it's not because you don't have the energy to have a good time. It's not because you are not going to have a good time again or anything like that. No, don't interpret it like that. It's your intuition that telling you that something will happen that is not caused by you, but by exterior circumstances that will lead to you not having such a good time, you know. It's not a major crisis. Of course, if you feel that before entering an airplane, think about it. So number 6 also goes very well with number 8, because number 8 is stable and organized and is a leader, and they really match together, you know. And the number 9, because number 9 is loving, emotional, and humanitarian. Number 6 is also emotional. Number 6 is a nurturer and is taking care of everyone, and sometimes gets very upset, gets angry, you know, because they feel that people don't understand them. But Number 6, the truth is that they meddle too much. They're nurturing, they're caring, and they care too much. They should wait until others ask for their help. So number 6 has to be a bit cooler. That's the best thing for number 6, to be a bit cooler in love, not to be so, emotional. They go very well with the number 9. Number 9 is very emotional and very loving, but they have to be, they will be happy together, but it will be an emotional relationship, right? They have to be cool, because number 9 also gets upset. They will have nice arguments, compatible arguments together. So number 7, the way number 7 loves is late in life. Number 7 is the kind of amazing, perhaps even genius, who a very disciplined also, who opens themselves to bring their treasures out to the world, and then they close like oysters again, and they don't allow anyone in. You cannot be the one to approach number 7. Number 7 is going to allow you or not allow you in their life. If they're friends, they're difficult friends, but they're wonderful friends. They're very intelligent and very mental and very spiritual as well. So, and number 7 has the following, as we said, they're cool, they take care of themselves always. They like to be very clean and very well dressed. And the thing with number 7 is that they see everyone else in a way as inferior. I'm not saying that they are, really, judging everyone, but number 7 does tend to not find the right person. Everybody is different. So they don't like difference. They see someone who is too emotional. Oh, he's too emotional. They see another person who is inferior in whatever, money, or they find everyone beneath them. And even if because they become aware of this early in life, they realize that, they start to believe that nobody is like them. And they become sometimes a bit arrogant. They also they separate themselves from the world, and they are lonely. That makes them lonely. And because of this, number 7 has to suffer sometimes a lot of humiliation, sometimes, not a lot, a little bit of humiliation. They may have to do a lower job, a menial task. And if they act gracefully, the circumstances will change. It's the same as number 1. Number 1 has to grow through injustice, because this is the only way to make someone who's arrogant, learn to react gracefully, right? And patiently. So number 7 goes, the thing is, they love a lot. Their communication is very important. They need to communicate and have similar ideology with the other person, but they must not make the mistake to think that they're too old now, or time has passed and they will not find their life partner. On the contrary, and number 7 usually finds the life partner later in life, when they realize, they do 2 things. A, they start accepting humanity and the many different personalities, and realizing that everyone is unique and beautiful, and seeing the beauty in others. You never know who the other person that you see in the street is. You may look at them and you don't like their appearance, but this is how they were born. That doesn't mean that they are inside, they're not a treasure. Or you may catch them in a very bad moment. I mean, whatever, of anger or ugliness. Nobody's perfect all the time, right? So number 7 has to be a bit more all-inclusive. When they are all-inclusive, then this changes them, and this allows them to open up to love a bit. And then, because they are alone, they try whoever attracts them physically, or whoever attracts them in some way, because they're so desperate and they make mistakes. So they have to realize that they will find their life partner if they have the same ideals with them. same ideology. They need to have communication, and they have to be an open heart and seek communication, and then they will find the right person. So number sevens, go to a nice hobby, a nice group where you will meet people who like the same things as you. And also, number seven. So then number sevens go very well with threes and fives, right? Threes are exuberant, mental, so they go very well with sevens. And fives are very, very intelligent, and they are, they are this quality of change and dynamism that goes very well with number seven. Then the next one is number eight. Number eight is organized, and very, very good leader, very intuitive leader, likes to construct, likes clothes, likes, all these things. But number eight is not romantic. So I have so many people I know who are with number eights, especially women. They're telling, oh, my husband, I say, oh, is it a number eight? And we calculate and it's a number eight. Usually this kind of husband or companion who's like shrugging off any affections. This is a number eight. You're not going to change them. Don't try. Just be nice to them and loving to them. They're very stable. They're good leaders. They will always love you. They will always take care of you. They're just not romantic by nature. Also, number eight, the way that, one obstacle that they have toward finding a life partner, toward being with others, is that they need to acquire a little bit of philosophy. They need to study philosophy. Trust me, philosophy will open your mind. Philosophy is going to make you see things, that you cannot, you don't see in yourself. For example, if someone tells you that, oh, what you just did is passive aggressive, what you just did, and you say, oh, me? Never. I've never done anything like that. I mean, like number eight, don't have any awareness of psychology. So studying psychology is not going to do it. You need to expand your mind. You need to study philosophy. And so the numbers that go very well with the number eight are number two, very sweet, it's ideal combination, practical leader, eight, submissive, yet, together there. Sometimes eight is forceful, is too forceful, is too dynamic, is oppressive. He has to watch that, or she has to watch that. And number two has to watch too much submissiveness, but they're good partners, both of them. Also, eight goes very well with six. Six, as we said, is nurturing, is loving, is home oriented. They love to work from home. Number six is creative, is artistic, and they are good combination also with number eight, interesting combination. And number six is very intuitive, as number eight is, right? And number six also works with a voice, works with a voice. And loves, and number six is creative. When I say creative, I mean, number six should work only when they're happy, when they want to create. On the days when they don't feel inspired, they should do something else. So 8 and 6 will make a perfect, ideal, organized relationship that will be very, very harmonious. And also, of course, number 4, right? Number 4 is a very, very practical, and number 4 doesn't believe until you produce proof. And number 8 is a bit the same. So these two are very well together, and they both have an occult, sides to them, that they are, enchanted by the occult and they love the occult. So I think number 8 and 4 are a very good combination. And then we have number 9. Number 9 is, emotional, passionate, loving. Number 9 is humanitarian, wants to save the world, wants to, number 9 is the person who is burdened all the time because they do everything, for others. They leave themselves last, which is totally wrong, actually. I mean, they should take care of themselves first so that they are well enough and have time enough to give and energy enough and resources and money to give to others. But at one point, they have also this dramatic complex, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I love number nines. I know number nines who are amazing. And, what they do is they decide that this is my life. My life is to serve others, and I'm going to serve others, but they don't put limits, and they don't want to see that, they see that eventually at one point, but they have so many excuses about doing what's good for others first, and never taking care of themselves, and never setting limits. So number 9 is very loving and caring for others, and for anyone, humanitarian, the true embodiment of the brotherhood of man, But number 9 can become a little bit of a drama queen, if they are excessively emotional, and they tend to be upset, feeling that nobody understands them. So you have these great emotional, very good performers, actors, So you have this number 9, of course, is going to go well with number 2, that is a good partner and wants love, wants to share love, right? And of course, they're going to be great with the number 6, who is creative, because number 9 is also artistic. And number 6 is the artist, the artist and the nurturer, and the healer. So number 2 is the healer too. Number 9, 2, 6 are all healers. And of course, number 9 is excited and has a very beautiful dynamic relationship with the number 3, because number 3 is mental and joyful. So number 9 tunes into the joyful and into the spreading magic all over the world part, right? Because to be humanitarian, we need to have that. So these are the numbers. Now I'm going to show you the PowerPoint. Again, for some who entered after we started, the way to find your number is through adding all the digits of your birthday, day, month, and year. All right. So here is the PowerPoint. You can take a screenshot of that, right? So you can take a screenshot of that quickly, so we can move with our session. And if you want, you can take a screenshot. Now, if you don't know how to take a screenshot on your computer, if you're in your phone and you don't know how to do this, you can contact me later and I can send it to you, all right? But you have to give me your email and I can send it to a lot of emails, And if you don't want me to send you any more emails, you can say, this is my email for the screenshot. Don't spam me. I don't spam anyone. I send 1 email per month, perhaps. So, so that's it. Okay. All right. So now we have a few minutes left. I would like to talk about the loneliness, loneliness, about people who are alone, who don't have a life partner. First of all, we saw in the numbers why we are lonely. We are lonely because we are not always able to see the beauty in others. It takes us many, many years before we start loving others, not for their exterior, not for their social status, not for their education, because there are people who have deep education and they don't have a PhD or a master's, or who have not gone to university, but they are very, very well educated and they're very well mannered as well. And you have to discover a person to know what is it that they love, who are they really? That's when you know them. But if it takes us so many years to mature and start looking at people. We have so many concepts. I tell to all my young students and friends, be careful, don't have all these, barriers between yourself and others. I mean, you have the class barrier, you have the, sometimes they have this age barrier, which is huge. You will benefit not from having a lover who's 20 years or 30 years older than you, but from having a friend, from having people who will give you wisdom. is, but of course you cannot advise the very, very young. They go by hormones, but some people are more mature and more mature and disciplined souls. But the thing is, many people stay alone, as you see, number sevens, number ones, sometimes number fives, because they change a lot. Number fives, they can always remarry. Remember that. And remarry is an old time, saying among arithmosophers that number 5 can always remarry, will always remarry. It doesn't have to remarry. It can have a relationship that is a long lasting relationship, right? Number 5 will not stay alone if he doesn't want to. But now we need to look at loneliness. And what is loneliness? I'm sorry to be controversial, but do we really, I'm not saying we don't need love. Love is the most important thing, as I said yesterday. It's more important than money. When you have love, your horizons open and you're capable of creating amazing things. And it's the most important thing. And also, you're never too old. It's never too late to have love. And, if your body cringes at the idea of having physical contact, one master of pranic healing said once that if you don't feel like having sex anymore, don't look for a sexual relationship. Look for a friendship, for a platonic relationship. That's also possible. But even the body, it corrects itself, it heals itself, it becomes more capable of having a good sexual relationship when it finds the right love partner. So don't have this in your mind. How am I going to be now? I don't want to be, all these things like I have my habits. I don't want to leave my habits, or I have my life. There's no room in my life for another person. I am a workaholic, unfortunately. I have really to take, today I went to the beach. That was a major breakthrough for me because I love to work. And still I know that having a life partner makes makes your life change completely. You can still work, but you're going to, for example, work together, or you're going to work at the same time. Just when you love, and I don't want to say when you're in love, I prefer to use the word love, agape, which is a higher kind of love, not just a sexual love, a passionate sexual love, but a deeper love. When you love, then all your horizons open and then your life changes. And that's the wonderful thing about it. It changes to the better in ways that now you cannot imagine. So don't close yourself to the possibility of a life partner. Now, how to attract a life partner, or how to not lose life, not to lose, people one after the other, is stop judging people. When you see someone, stop thinking, could he be the one? Don't do that, because when you do that, immediately you're thinking, no, I don't like the way he looks. Oh, no, this is not the one. So you're judging them. So what is the karma coming back to you? Judgment karma. You're like constantly rejecting people, or you're constantly seeing people under this scope. So you don't see them as human beings. You see them as the potential carrier of what you need. So if you're alone, if you've been lonely and you're looking for a life partner, just give all these things that you would give to a life partner, give them to yourself, until you find completion within you. And then when you have that, when you're happy, when you have new hobbies, when you do new things that excite you, find a new hobby, find something that you love, and then perhaps you will meet someone there and they will find you. Your life partner will find you. You don't have to find them. You will meet and your eyes will lock and you will look at each other and you will know. And this will just do it, work it out itself. So also I want to say that it is possible for a human being to be very happy and to be alone. It's very possible. We can be alone and we can be very happy, but we have to open ourselves to love in different ways, because now humanity is moving toward, the brotherhood of man, toward group love, not group love sexually, but group love that you love everyone, and you love your group, you love your meditation group, you love your sports group, and you love all humanity and all beings. So people are moving toward being more open. Like in the older times, in the 50s, 60s, every couple, there was this closed mechanism there, this system where those two people could not love others, could not like other people. And whenever they did, that was suspicious. It was like they were going to deceive each other. So this doesn't exist anymore. So we have to fight with old habits of jealousy, because jealousy is an illness. We have to fight those old habits and get rid of them and face them. And this is all about self-esteem. It's all about loving yourself and admiring and accepting, and it's about self-appreciation. So give to yourself, see what you've done. You've done a million good things and 5 bad things, or 10 or 20, but you've done so many more good things. And just forgive yourself and love yourself and give to yourself. And then you can be ready to receive love and to be open and enjoy the company of other people. And if you're lonely, you know how you can deal with it. You find someone that you think that, oh, this person would, I like this person, but do they like me? It can be of the same sex. It can be a friend. It doesn't have to be a lover, a potential lover. And you you invite them for lunch at your place, and then when the lunch is beautiful and you make your best effort, you create a beautiful atmosphere, and then you put nice music, you light candles, you have nice food, you have a joyful atmosphere. And then when it's over, you say, shall we do it next week? And have the confidence that this person also had a good time. And then you start meeting people at home in a more private environment, discussing, talking, exchanging ideas. And that's how you acquire friends that are lasting and deep, and you don't have to be lonely, right? So, or you can get a dog, but it's better to have communication with humans. Of course, dogs are wonderful, but human beings, we need to have friends. And this is very, very important. So thank you for watching today. We're a bit over time, and many people want to go to another session that is starting now. And I want to say tomorrow we're going to discuss how we attract prosperity, each of us. Each of us attract prosperity in a very, very different way. So tomorrow at the same time, at the same Zoom number, we're going to see prosperity. Just keep in mind your life path number, your single digit number, and we will discuss that tomorrow. So take care. Thank you. Atma Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.